Hey, good morning. It is Monday, May 10th. Welcome to Sneaking Around in Syndicate. That's the new name that I'm coming up with this for today. If you watch my previous videos, I seem to start my videos off with that almost every day. I just flew out to Syndicate yesterday with Amos Abraham here, and I am starting to scan the area out and see if I can find maybe a temporary new home. Um, and just want to show you what I'm doing, and it might be helpful to people on down the road, or if anybody has some ideas as to what they want to do. I'm keeping my scouting very basic. Um, partially, let's get off this customs office too. That is a horrible thing for me to be doing there. There we go. So, first thing, I was going to say this later on, but never be right next to a customs office because, especially if you're in a slower ship, if somebody comes in to kill you, you could get hung up on it. So that was a major no-no. But, um, so basically, I'm going to start going through constellation to constellation, system by system. Probably not going to get to all of them because there's so many, but just to get a feel for the area by flying two different ones at different times a day. I can get a feel for who lives in the area. I get a feel for what's there, not just what's on Dotland, but what's accessible, the size of the systems. The most important thing I'm doing with this scouting mission is trying to figure out a good spot to set up my planetary interaction, at least temporarily, once I get up to level 5. So basically, I just want to run you through what I've been doing. I've done 2 systems so far, and let's just pull up Dotland here. There you are, sir. Doo-doo-doo-doo. So there is Dotland there. Um, if you watched yesterday, I came in through MHC, and I'm starting off just right here. This whole little constellation right here. Constellations are separated by these red jump gates tracks here. So this whole area right here is accessible by these jumps. It's kind of interesting. I kind of like where this is different from, this is its own constellation here. It only has one way into the constellation. Um, same thing here. Same thing here. This one, to get down to this constellation here, you got to go through one jump here and one jump here. So I'm betting if I ever go down there, there's probably some people holed up down there because I'm looking at some really good NPC stations down here. So I'll be interested once I go down there. Probably die, but um, but yeah. So and you can get some good information off of Dotland here. Now let's just make sure. Okay, still nobody in system. Um, just there we go. Um, keeping an eye on local, and then I've got my directional scanner right up here. As long as nobody's in local, I don't have to worry about that. Um, so what I like to do is, before I do a quick roam through the area, is just check out Dotland real quick, like I did yesterday. See what the general feel for it is. There's averages between 25 jumps and less than 5. Um, very few NPC kills, no ship kills, no ship kills for this system. I just check out random ones in the area here. Anywhere from 40 to 0. There was 2 NPC kills, so not much ratting going on there. Check out that one. Anywhere from 30 to 0. A decent number of NPC kills here. 200, 100, 1 ship kill. So not too scared about flying in these areas. Doesn't seem like there's too much gate camping going on. I think that's because there's so many ins and outs of these systems. Then the general layout, there are some stations here that are livable because they both got refining and um, uh, production. And that's just a quick look at Dotland. Go ahead and move that over here. So, what I want to do is just kind of look around, get the lay of the land, very basic stuff, and write some notes down. Now, a simple way to do that would be make a Google Doc or something like that and have that available. But I like to try to do as many things in game as possible. And there's a reason for that, and I'll show you here in a second. So, first thing I'm going to do is, I already did checked out UM and OEK. I'm going to check out PFP here. Not a whole lot of jumps. I kind of like that. Not a semi-decent amount of NPC kills, especially recently, and some no ship kills. So that's good. So I feel fairly comfortable that I can jump into it. So we're going to jump to that. I'm at a safe spot, so I'm not too worried about getting killed at a gate. Plus, there's nobody in the system. Let's go ahead and pull this over here while we're flying. Cool. Nobody in system. As I've always said, is if you're flying around an NPC null, you always want to warp, get off that gate as quickly as possible. Pick a random station. I'm going to go safe OEK. As soon as I get more than 5 off of 5 AU off, there we go. Submitted it. Now, like I talked about yesterday, I have a safe spot right near OEK, so I can check to see if there are people in here trying to kill me. I have a safe spot that I can go and check out that gate. As I go through each gate while I'm flying around, I try to do as many of those as possible. If ever I get in trouble, if I can save myself once by doing it, then that 5 seconds of, not even 5 seconds because I'm in the middle of warp, will save me millions and millions of bucks and time of having to get a new ship. So now I've warped to this planet. I'm going to warp right back to my safe spot. You've probably seen me do this before, but I like to go over it in I hate to say it, making the videos. I talk and it makes me think, and if I think of anything that changes or when I say something aloud, it causes me to think about it more, and I will figure out sometimes that I'm wrong and fix that. So, all right, so I'm at my safe spot here. Now, the second thing I like to do, just to be a little bit more safe, is to aim myself at a celestial object, a line that I know that, usually a station, and I'm going to align to it. Go ahead and hit my afterburner. So what that's going to do, it's going to move me off of my safe spot. I'm aligned to the station, so if anybody comes into system, combat probes me down while I'm messing around and I'm not paying attention. I have a little bit more of a second because I'm moving, so if they scan me down here and I'm moving in this direction, now they fly in. If I'm still moving in this direction, they're going to hit this spot and still have to get to me, hopefully. So I get maybe a couple seconds more to notice them, and since I'm aligned to a station, I can insta-warp to that spot. Now, you don't have to do it to stations. You can do it to anything else, a mining belt, a warp 2 spot, but you want it to be something that you know that you can instantly just switch over and warp, or just hit. Since I'm aligned to it, just hit warp there. So again, anything that can save you while you're doing stuff like this. Now, the opposite is true as if you're trying to kill somebody, I guess. I'm wanting to get into that fairly soon. Not soon, but that's one of the reasons why I moved my second outpost out here, is it's right near faction warfare space. So I think a lot of the ISK that I make out here will be toward making PvP ships. Alrighty, so we're set up. Now we can start scouting. It still feels safe. I've got my local here, ready to roll. Now, instead of using a Google Doc, I like to use the in-game notes, and I'll show you why. We've got the system here, and we've got the constellation that it's in here. And let's go ahead and pull up my notes. There we are. And you can see here, I've done a couple so far. I've got my Syndicate Systems folder, and then a folder for the constellation it is. And then these are the two systems that I've checked out so far. And this is the main reason why I like to use the notes. I can point and drag the information over here so I can easily access it, make it accessible to me if I want to go back and get that information. Alrighty, so we got somebody came in the system and left. Wasn't paying attention. You probably saw that. I didn't. But we're good. How is that helpful? Well, let's say I'm not in this system, but I want to find out some quick information off of stuff. I can very easily just go down here. I'm not in OEK anymore. OEK is one jump over. I can see here that all of these all the different types of planets that are here. If I want to check out the planet, I can check it out right there. Boom, boom. If I want to check out who the corporation is that owns it, owns the player-controlled customs office, I learned the short is POCO. I hate acronyms, but player-owned customs office, POCO. So, so yeah, what I've started doing is putting down who actually owns these stations. I didn't do it for all of these, and there's reasons why for that. But and the more you delve into it, I'll show you the more information you get. Maybe save yourself some money, maybe grow some relationships. I don't know. I haven't really talked a whole lot with other people in this game. But there's a very important thing with it. I'll show you here in a second. So let's just get started. First thing we want to do is we want to create a new note. And this is going to be PFP TechGU. You might be asking yourself, why would he be taking all this time? In reality, I'm not going to do a lot of this today. Each day, I'm going to try to do one or two. You'd be amazed at after 20 or 30 days of playing, it takes you, you'll watch. I mean, it'll take me a little bit longer because I'm talking while I'm doing it. But this is going to be really fast that I go through and do this. And as I get faster and faster, the more I do it, literally 5 minutes of time will save me tons of ISK, I think, get me more information on the game, that sort of thing. And learn. So I do, as you noticed here, I'm keeping my notes I think it's fairly simple notes. I also, right here, I've been putting in the tax percent on the POCO, so I don't have to go back and look at them. You have to be in system to pull up POCO to, I'm actually starting to like the acronym, to see what the tax percentage is. Now that can change, these corporations can change that, but in general, while you're scouting, this will give me a good idea. So I'm in PFP, we're going to drag the name on it. You go ahead and click and hold, and drag it over. Boom. I'm going to hit enter to go down one line. And then just to keep everything in line, we're going to go. And why am I doing planets? Well, my main goal is to find planets that are usable. So that is one. I could do other notes, but I'm trying to keep it fairly simple. And then we're going to go ahead and pull up the information. It's got orbital bodies here, the tab here. And this is the easy part. All I'm going to do is going to drag over the first planet. Boom. Enter. Move this over just a little bit. Drag over the second planet. Boom. Enter. Third planet. Boom. Enter. Fourth planet. Boom. Enter. There's only 4 planets here. Now I've gained information. I've gained that there's a barren planet, a gas planet, and a lava planet. I've gained that there's only 4 planets in the system. So it's, and I think it's a pretty small system. If you notice, well, it's a fairly, well, no, this is a pretty big system actually. There is, oh, that's what it was. OEK was a small system. It was a small size system, but packed with a decent number of planets. While this is a large system packed with only 4 planets. So the second part that I want to do is access the customs offices off of here. So go ahead and access that. Good. And we get a 5%er here. 5. Now I'm doing this here. You'll see the next area where I'm actually going to fly to the POCO, but I don't like hanging out at POCOs. I like to do as much information as possible from a safe location. You can't do this. You can't check out the tax percentages while in station, but you can do it from a safe location in the system. Okay, so we will access this one. There we go, 5%. I'm starting to like this a little bit. And then access. %, okay. And then don't really need to close that. It'll close itself. I don't know why I'm doing that. And a 5%er. Okay, why is this important? Well, the first system that I went to, UM Tech F, let's just show you here on the big board of Syndicate. UM Tech F, I checked that one out, and this one. This system here had multiple POCOs, but all of them were owned by one company and all set to 10%. OEK had a couple of POCOs owned by different companies set at different percentages. Same thing here. So we'll go ahead and pull that over. Just to show you, this is UMF, the first one that I showed you. All of these stations, customs offices, were set at 10%, and they were all owned by this company here, the Weak and the Scrawny. And they're all set to 10%. So I really don't want to set up here, except for one other reason. There is a chance that I might want to do that, but we'll get to that here in a second. Second system here I went to, if you notice, there were 7 planets, 7 POCOs, owned by multiple types of companies set at different percentages. We've got one at 5 and one at 5, the rest at 10. I don't want to set up any planets over 10%. I want to keep it at 5% if possible. So this gives me 2 options here, a barren and a gas planet here if I want to do that. And it's owned by multiple there. And then now that I've gotten PFP, now what I want to do, all of these 5, 5, 9, and 5, there's only 4 planets, but they're all better than the planet before. I've got 2 barrens and a gas planet. Now the lava planet's a little bit higher. So what I'm going to do now is I could warp to the planet directly, but I don't want to do that. I want to warp to the customs office at 100. If you warp to the planet, you could do it at 10 or 0 or 100. There's a slight chance you might warp in on the POCO right next to it and get hung up on it. So I always warp to the customs office at 100 just to gain the information. And as I'm flying here, ooh, a lot of guys here. So there's a bunch of guys, a bunch of NPCs on that gate right there. Okay, So, still nobody in system. Always keep an eye on that, especially when you're at the POCOs. Now I'm flying in a frigate, so it's fairly quick for me to get away, so I'm not too worried away. But I'm also 100 off of the actual POCO. Where are you there? They're targeting me from 16,000 away. Hope I can get away. There's the POCO right there. So now I could very easily have, I just want to show you that I'm 100 away from it. I could actually just pull this up and show info. This shows me the company that owns it. I click on it. This is the corporation that actually owns this POCO. So all I want to do is come back over into my notepad and take and drag this right there. Now I'm wondering, actually I might be able to do this. Can I do the same thing? I can actually do the same thing. So now the big thing here is I want to be careful to do the correct planet. GU, G3, G4. So I don't actually have to warp to the POCO to find out this stuff. Okay, I could do this from a safe spot. Just got to be a little bit more careful because I'm not right up on it. So, like I said, boy, these guys from 16,000 kilometers away just don't like me. I'll see you later, buddy. Okay, so this is just your general overview tabs. I know you can download better ones. I haven't bothered yet because this does what I need it to right now. So here's my warp 2s that I can go to. This is planet 2. So now I'm in the safe spot, so I don't even have to worry too much. Let's go ahead and get moving just a little bit, just to be a little bit safe. And I'm going to go ahead and show the info on this one. Same company. Now, to drag this, you do have to pull up the corporation. Okay. Let's get that a little bit smaller. Good. And that is customs office number 3. Show my info. So this is a new company here that owns this one. Corporation. So go ahead and drag them here. And then number 4. Show my information. And drag that there. Alrighty. So owned by multiple. If all of these were owned by one company, I'd put the company name there. That way I just have to click on it. In other notes, one NPC station, and the NPC station here has I'm just looking off of Dotland here. Actually, let's just go ahead and dock at it. Has refining. And production. What I'd also put in here is laboratories and cloning, just off of Dotland. I can look it up on Dotland, but having all the information right here when I start thinking about what I want to do. The other part too is while I'm hanging out in here, I'm trying to see who's coming through, who's not, who's flying through, who's not, who's living here, that sort of thing. And that's what I would put at this point in the notes. Okay. So now that I have this, and I'm in a safe spot, I'm in a station, I no longer have to go out and look at different things. What I want to show you is the last part, is kind of deep diving a little bit, as I've started doing, and I'm sure there's a ton of other things you can learn while you're doing this. But deep dive into the corporation. Look at the corporations who own these different things. The first thing I'll show you here is the first systems that I went to. Remember this system here that all of these planets are at a 10% tax rate? And they're all owned by one company, the weak and the scrawny. So if I click on their information, take a quick look, there are 81 member count. They are not a member of any type of alliance, but the corporation was founded 10 years ago. So this is an old corporation. There's other things that you can do maybe to see how active they are. You could go into zKillboard, do a search on their name, see if they've killed anybody or anybody's killed them. But there's a lot of different things that you can look for in here. But this is where I don't really write this in the notes, but I just want to get a good feel for who lives in this area and who's in control of it. Last but not least, I go here. And I look at their description. And this is an important part. Sometimes you read up on it. If you notice here, contact Gita Dave, their CEO. And if you notice here, contact him. It looks like they've set all of their POCOs at 10%. Lower rates offered to regular and intensive users. Ask about our loyalty program. So while all of their customs offices are set up at 10%, if I contact them by going to their channel, I could actually see if I can get a lower rate. Now, what they would have to do is give me money back from what I paid for it. I'm not interested in doing that right now because that's just a little bit more work than I want to do. But maybe down the road, depending on what I want to do, I might get into it with them. If I build a corporation out here and other guys want to join, maybe we enter relation. So while the POCO was at 10%, the tax rate, I might be able to get it lower. So that's where digging a little bit deeper might get you better information and build a relationship with another corporation. So what are other things that you can glean from this? Well, now I've got these different companies here. Here's a good one. This is, I'm not going to try to say that. I am going to try that. Ishikon Rada Accounting and Transport. But the big thing here you notice is these guys are a member of Alliance Warfare. What's it called? Faction Warfare. So they've set this up, but their group is part of Alliance Warfare. And they are part of an alliance here. Now it looks like they're all let's see here, alliance. So they've been in and out. They've created this alliance a couple of times. But again, they're fairly old, since 2009. Let's check out one more here. This corporation was founded in 2009. So the interesting part, if you think about that too, all three of these corporations were all founded, I think, if I remember correctly, in 2009. It's kind of a coincidence, or are they all related? And they don't have any information here. And there's only 3 members of this one. Okay, so what does that mean? They're not part of Alliance. Here, they're not part of Faction Warfare. And they own 1 lava planet out of all of these. So that's something I would do a little bit more research on to find out. Way down the road, if you find that a corporation is no longer active, once you build a corporation, maybe you might want to take out their POCO and put up one of your own. I'm not looking anywhere toward that right now. Might be kind of fun if you start doing your galactic dominance. But so that's basically what I'm going to do the next couple of days. Now, this took a little bit longer because I've been talking and explaining. literally to check out a system at a time. It takes about 5 minutes. So what I could do is just pick a constellation a week. So I could do this one first, I could do this one second, or maybe another one second, um, and just go through one planet a day, take 5 minutes, do some quick research. Um, and then what I want to do is set up a temporary spot that I can go play and shoot things at and have fun. Um, and then look for a full-time home at some point. Um, but so that's what I'm gonna do is every day just pull up, do 5 minutes, check stuff out. Um, my main goal is to find where I want to set down my planetary interaction to start with out here, and then look for a home. So that's basically it. Um, any suggestions, any ideas? Feel free to message me as my character Amos Alexander, or I'm sorry, Amos Abraham. Yep, Amos Abraham. Um, and or you can send my other character is Ashford Rogers. That's one I play more often, but I'm going to be switching back and forth between these two because I want to have both. I do want to at some point set up some clone jumping between the two so I can get back and forth. Um, but if you have any questions or any ideas, feel free to contact me. And you guys have a great day. Fly safe, fly dangerously.